Okay, to get the most of these videos, you should press pause when I present a new example to you and try it on your own before looking at my solution. Okay, here we have the sum of the two roots of a quadratic equation is -1. The product of the two roots is -12. Which of these could be the quadratic equation? To solve this problem, we're going to use the following fact. If I have the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, then the sum of the roots, okay, so if I have two real roots, then the sum of those two real roots is going to be equal to -b divided by a. The product of the two real roots is going to be equal to c divided by a. Alright, so you can prove this, that if you have two real roots, the sum is -b over a and the product is c over a, by just using the quadratic formula. So to solve this, we're going to have to see which of the quadratic equations has the property that if I take -b divided by a, then I get the sum, which is -1. Okay, so -b divided by a needs to be -1. Since the product is -12, that means c divided by a has to be -12. So we just basically have to go through this and test. So let's take a look at the first one. If we do -b divided by a, we get negative, b is -1, a is 1, we get -1 over -1, and that's going to be +1. Okay, so I know a is out because I needed to get -1 as that answer. Okay, let me go to b here. I do -b over a, so -1 over 1, and that equals -1. So that checks out. Now I have to look at c divided by a, and my answer needs to be -12. c is 12, divided by a is 1. 12 divided by 1 is 12, so this one doesn't work out either. I needed to get -12 as the answer. Okay, the third one, c. If we do -b divided by a, we get -1 over 1, which is -1, which checks out. And if we do c divided by a, we get -12 divided by 1, which is in fact -12. Okay, so c checks out. C is the quadratic equation whose two roots have a sum of -1 and a product of -12. Okay, so just on the side, we could verify that if we want. If we factor this, we get x and x. Okay, so we need a product of 12, product of -12, and a sum of 1. So that's going to be +4 minus 3, and the two roots are -4 and 3, which if we add them, we get -1. If we multiply them, we get -12. Okay, we have ACEG is a square, and its total area is 81. We want to find the area of this missing piece here, ABIH. Okay, we know that to get the length of a rectangle, to get the area of a rectangle, we multiply the length of each side together. So this side and this side, when we multiply, we get x squared as our answer. This side and this side, when we multiply, we get 6x as our answer. So this side length is going to be x, and this side length is also going to be x. Therefore, this side length has to be x as well, because all we have is this vertical segment, so each of these has to be the same length. So if that's x, that needs to be x. So if this side is length x and the area is 6x, then this side has to be length 6. Okay, similarly, since this side length is x, this side length also must be x, and this side length must be x. Since the product of this side and this side is 6x, this must be length 6. Okay, so since this is length 6, this has to be length 6, and this has to be 6. Okay, finally, since this is 6, this has to be 6, and that has to be 6 as well. So this missing piece right here has an area of 6 times 6, which is 36. Alright, so here we have a rectangle, PQRS. And it's going to be rotated about side RS here. So we're going to take this side here and rotate it around. If we do, we're going to end up with a cylinder. Okay, we want to find the volume of that cylinder. So here RS, that's the axis of rotation. So RS is going to be right here along the center of that cylinder. So that means that since this is corresponding to the center of the cylinder, it means its length is going to give us the height of the cylinder. So that's 10. Okay, so this side Q, this side PQ is being brought around to form the cylinder. So therefore, this side PQ is going to give us the radius of the cylinder, so that's 6. Okay, so you can think we started off with maybe PQRS here, and then this side was brought around and around and around and around and around. Same with this little side right here, around and around and around, and that's how we formed the cylinder. Okay, so this cylinder here has a radius, a base radius of 6, and a height of 10. We know that the volume of the cylinder is the area of the base times the height. So the area of the base is going to be pi r squared times the height. So this is going to be pi times the radius, which is 6, squared, times the height, which is 10. So that's pi times 36 times 10, which is going to be 360 pi. Okay, here we have a stick that's 3 feet tall and it's perpendicular to the ground. Okay, it's sticking in the ground, and the 3 feet tall we'll say is how far out of the ground. A string is 25 feet long and it extends from the top of the stick to the ground. So here we have our stick, and let's say this is the ground. Okay, suppose we have level ground. And the stick here is perpendicular to the ground, so that's going to be a right angle, and it's 3 feet tall. Then we have a string that goes from the top of the stick all the way down to the ground, and the string is 25 feet long. We want to find the angle of elevation from the bottom of the string to the top of the stick. So that's going to be this angle right here. So we're measuring it from the ground all the way up to the top of the stick. So let's call that alpha. Okay, we're looking for alpha, and we know the side opposite alpha and the hypotenuse. Therefore, we're going to use the sine. So sine of alpha is equal to the side opposite, which is 3, divided by the length of the hypotenuse, which is 25. To find alpha, we're just going to take the inverse sine of this in our calculators. So inverse sine of 3 divided by 25. And let's put our answer in degrees. So we have to make sure the mode of our calculator is in degrees, and we just plug this in. Right, if we plug this in, then we get around 6.89 degrees. Okay, so rounded to the nearest whole number, that'd be about 7 degrees.